Going into this Patriots offseason, it was pretty obvious who their top target was going to be. It was the name on people's lips, really, after they lost out on Calvin Ridley, and that was Tee Higgins. Well, certain reports coming out the last few days have certainly not helped in terms of Tee Higgins becoming a New England Patriot in 2025. So first, it was reported that the Bengals are almost certainly going to franchise tag him, which will come on Tuesday, right? Or Wednesday, March 4th, Tuesday, is when the franchise tags will go out. The Bengals have already said that that's what they're going to do if they don't agree to a long-term contract with Tee Higgins, which, of course, they are not going to agree with to a long-term contract with Tee Higgins, no matter what kind of napkin math Joe Burrow does for them. It's probably not going to happen. And the franchise tag probably gets the Patriots out of the sweepstakes, mainly because they don't have a ton of trade assets. You know, they're willing to go and spend the money. You know, we heard the projected offer for Brandon Ayuk. We know they were in for Calvin Ridley right till the last second, and Calvin Ridley picked a worse team. Picked a team that is picking number 1 in the draft, not the team that's picking number 4. But anyway, Tee Higgins, now apparently that's not going to happen because Chad Graff of The Athletic is reporting that the deal is not going to happen because of different priorities for the New England Patriots. New England's blueprint for the offseason does not include pursuing Higgins, Graff wrote. As the Patriots are reshaped in Mike Vrabel's likeness, they want to prioritize building through the offensive and defensive lines and will make that goal number 1 of the offseason. So expect their biggest free agent signings to come in the trenches, not at wide receiver. Going off that, Elliott Wolf also had something to say about it. The game is always won on the lines, offensive line, defensive line. Not just because of the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl, but it has always been that way. And Chad Graff, I should go back to what he said at the beginning of that story. New England's blueprint for the offseason does not include pursuing Higgins, the number 1 free agent to be on our top 150 big board, according to The Athletic. So the Patriots are out on Tee Higgins. Is that a deceptive headline, though? Because could it actually be that Tee Higgins is out on the Patriots? Because let's be honest, guys. If the Patriots had been alerted to the fact that Tee Higgins was interested in signing there, or wanting to play there, I should say, then this report would never have come out. The Patriots probably would have tried to make something happen, right? And Tee Higgins would have looked more and more disgruntled with the Bengals, but he probably just doesn't want to come here. He wants out of Cincinnati. He wants the money, and if the Patriots offered him $30 million, maybe he would. But let's not kid ourselves here. This Chad Graff report from The Athletic is not coming out if Tee Higgins has real interest in the Patriots and is telling his agent, I want to play there. So we can put lipstick on the pig and say, oh, the Patriots are out. They're looking offensive, defensive line because it's an easy sell. It's actually very John Henry Red Sox tactic here, right? Like to compare it to what the Red Sox did in the offseason. They said they were going to get 2 of the top 3 free agent starting pitchers. They didn't, but they went out and made a trade for one of the best available pitchers in Garrett Crochet. And so at the end of the day, John Henry can say, well, we needed starting pitching. We went out and got starting pitching. That was their biggest weakness last year. No matter how they got to it, they got to it. And Mike Vrabel and the Patriots could say, after missing out on Tee Higgins, the number 1 free agent on the top 150 board from The Athletic, they can say, well, what do you want from us? We had the worst offensive line in history last year, and we went out and we prioritized offensive and defensive line instead. What do you want? And at the end of the day, Patriots fans, just like Red Sox fans have to do, are like, well, it's got a point. Those suck too. Every position group of quarterbacks sucked for the Patriots, so it's easy to kind of hit on something else and just be like, well, that was a big priority. You saw how much we sucked last year. So in the end, it's almost foolproof, right? But certainly that is coming out from the Patriots organization saying, well, look, we got to attack the trenches. Games are won in the trenches. Look what the Eagles just did. And there's a point to it. So it kind of masks the disappointment of not being in on the number 1 wide receiver target when when you've really struggled at that position for a long time now. A long time. You have not had an all-pro outside receiver in 15 years. Randy Moss. It's been a long time. I mean, we're talking like Randy Moss 07, so 17 or 18 years ago. Was he the last all-pro outside receiver that you had? You've had some good slot receivers since then. You've had great tight ends since then. But you have not had an eye for talent at that position in a long, long time. A generation here. Okay? Last time they had that all-pro outside receiver, I was in 5th grade. And now I'm doing this fucking show 5 days a week. And paying taxes. Okay? It's been a long time since that happened. And it does suck, but certainly the writing was on the wall recently that Tee Higgins might be a pipe dream. And now, we kind of talk about the draft and what they're missing out on by picking number 4 in the draft. I'm not on coke, by the way. My nose is just really itchy. I look like the fucking Kleenex commercials now with how red my nose is. But we talk about the draft, what they miss out on by not picking number 1. Now you essentially missed the number 1 pick of free agent wide receivers. And now what do you got? Now you are looking at Stephon Diggs, Amari Cooper, a trade for DK Metcalf. I don't know. DK Metcalf's a really talented player, but I just don't see that as the right move. And all of a sudden, what do you do now? Do you turn to Jalen Polk again? Because Jalen Polk's name has also been in the news. Remember him? 2nd round pick, first pick in the 2nd round. Was supposed to be this game-changing wide receiver. Everyone loved his maturity. And instead, he caught 10 passes all year? 1 touchdown? 2 touchdowns? Had caught like 30% of the balls that were thrown to him. Just the biggest waste of a 1st or 2nd round pick in year 1 in the NFL. Totally invisible. And when he was visible, he was hurting your team. Well, Elliott Wolf's got an excuse for that too. He says, I think organizationally we put a little too much on his plate year 1. We've talked with that about him. We're in a good spot with it. Because again, the only time Elliott Wolf talks to the media is when he's throwing someone else under the bus. And once again, it comes with the coaching staff that he helped hire. He helped hire this coaching staff last year. He was right in there with the interview process and the hiring process of hiring Gerard Mayo and Tyquan Underwood to be the receivers coach and all these schmoes who made up the 2024 New England Patriots coaching staff. He was in on that. And now he's saying, yeah, they put too much on his plate. Really? Did they put too much on his plate? He was targeted 30 times this year. How is that putting too much on the plate of the guy who was picked 33rd in the draft? I don't understand that. I think that's babying. And Mike Vrabel came in here in his introductory press conference and talked about how they needed accountability. They needed to get the holier than thou attitude out of there. And it clearly sounded like he was talking about the players, and which Jalen Polk might fit into that as well. But maybe it should be directed towards the GM as well, Elliott Wolf. Because I don't think I watched every second of every Patriots game this year. Never once did I think, oh, poor Jalen Polk, man. They're just putting too much on his plate. Most of the time, I was thinking, wow, hit him right in the hands. Catch the fucking football. That's mostly what I was thinking. But hey, maybe that's why I'm not the GM.
We are Rogue Media Sports.
Hey, thanks for stopping by. And if you like this video, be sure to give us a like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel a ton. You can follow me on Twitter here for some more outrageous Boston sports takes coming to you every weekday at noon Eastern time. And then after that, wherever you get your podcasts.
We are Rogue Media Sports.